I brought y'all Turk this week. You know, he is such an awesome young man. He has an awesome story to tell. You know, so y'all listen up real good. You know, he know this thing is raw and live and authentic. You know what I mean? Just like you, Stace. You know, when you was on here, this young man is a friend of mine's son, Tara Martin, and she and I was talking, and she ended up telling him about my live. You know, we was talking about an event for is it your baby?
Yeah, my daughter.
For his daughter, you know. So I was telling her, you know, we ended up talking about the live, and she was telling me that he wanted to start, y'all, listen to this now. He wanted to start a podcast of his own to put the word out to young folks, you know, about those, Molly's, pills, stuff like that.
Streets in general.
Streets in general, he said. Speak up, let them know.
Streets in general.
Streets in general, you know what I mean? He has a story. Hey, Lynette. That's one of my bosses at work.
Okay.
And Lauren is one of my colleagues at work. Hey, Lauren. You know, I told a lot of people by mouth, you know, that I want them to come on and listen to this when you come on. You know what I mean? So I hope a lot of the youngsters pop up as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you are going to bring so much information to people's lives, you know, with your story. So all of us have a story that will relate to somebody else, you know, or help somebody else bring out their truth. You know, because, you know, the truth will do what? Set you free. You know what I'm saying? Truth is going to set, that's such a true statement. That is such a true statement. The truth will definitely set you free. You know what I mean? He's a little nervous before he came on, like everybody else, like I was when I first started, you know? But once we get to rolling, you gonna come. You gonna get calm. You know, so y'all, we gotta show him some love. Let me send some hearts out to him. We gotta show him some love, you know, and let him know that we definitely so appreciate him. Patricia said, yes, so many families, see that on you already, so many families are suffering from this. Yes, our youngsters, look.
Mine as well. Yeah.
Say it again. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Speak up too. He
Mine
got this
as well.
soft voice, y'all
Sorry.
telling, because I be loud.
Yeah.
I be on this thing loud. So they can hear you.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm excited to hear his story. You know what I'm saying? I'm so excited to hear what he has to say, and I'm so honored to help him with his podcast. You know what I mean? Just by bringing him on, you know, and let him get a taste and a feel, you know, of what it feels like and where he can go with this. And check me out, y'all. Y'all know I don't even know a quarter of this shit.
More than me, for sure, more than me.
He said I know more than him. Look, I'm feeling like I'm the big dog.
I'm learning everything.
I'm gonna give him some hearts. I'm acting like I'm a big dog tonight, y'all. Trust me, so y'all gotta help me out. I need y'all on this thing, honey. You know, and I'm gonna turn him on to everything that I know and I got. And like I said, I start from scratch. I just started doing it. You know what I mean? I had ups and downs with it. My screen mess up sometimes. Like, you know, now I'm starting to get some reels done, and I characterize that and name that On the Eye. Because, you know, in recovery, he has never been to rehab or anything, y'all. He did this on his own, and we talk about that. We talk about some people who don't go to rehab, you know, who find recovery in another way. But can I ask you, did you find a higher power?
I had to.
Say it again.
I had to.
That's right. You have to. If you don't have that higher power, I'm telling you, even if it's not, if you choose not to call him God, if it's this, you know, you got to have something greater than yourself to help you to restore your sanity. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? Because doing this alone is the worst thing you could possibly try to do.
Probably impossible.
Yes, it's the worst thing you could probably.
That's what got me into the place that got me into. Put me into the dark spot I was in.
You was trying yourself, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just always, I do everything myself. Like, I'm not a person to talk to. If I'm going through something, I'm going to go through it myself. I'm going to find a way to get out of myself. Like,
yeah, talk to them for me so they can hear you.
I don't know. So if I'm going through something, I go through it by myself. I'm venting anything, I'm doing it myself. I'm not talking to nobody else or presenting to somebody else that I'm going through something. No, you're not going to know. unless you know directly and you speak to me directly, yo, what's wrong with you? Is something wrong? I'm probably gonna give you a bullshit answer like, yeah, I'll be alright, I'm cool.
Look, Tracy really connects so many people on here for you. Thanks, Trace. You are such a beauty. She has a beautiful heart. Yeah. You are such a darling. She has her own
Tracy,
podcast.
Yeah, Tracy Rowley.
Okay. She sells jewelry.
Okay.
You know, Stacy Love is also watching. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? If you don't have that higher power, man, that's a dark place. That's a dark place. You know. Hey, Veneer. How you doing? Hey, Mo. Happy birthday to Mo.
My fault, Mo. Just I can't hear you. I gotta get used to this, Mo. I'm trying to speak up. I'm sorry. I'm gonna speak up.
Yeah, he got that soft voice, y'all. I'm trying to get him to get a little louder.
I'm trying to get used to it.
Yeah, so try, to bring your voice up. Yeah, just broaden your voice up a little bit so they can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know Mo.
I don't know. I have to see faces.
Oh, she said, I can't hear you, Turk. So I'm thinking that she knows you, yeah. You know. But, how many kids you got, Turk?
2.
Turk is a father of 2 children. You know what I mean? And he is very entwined with his children, you know, and his relationship and his baby. You know, and that's what we got together for, Tara and I, for the baby's birthday.
Right.
The little girl, right?
My baby girl, right?
Yeah, his little girl. How old is she turning?
5.
She's turning 5, and your son?
He's 15.
His son is 15. You can tell them that, though, but I'm just trying to get it started. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Mo said, it's my sister B-Day, Trey. Thank you. Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday to your sister.
Happy birthday, sis.
Happy birthday to Mo's sister, y'all. Give Mo's sister some hearts for happy birthday.
She said, no, I don't know him.
What she said?
No,
she said, I don't know him. All right, I just thought, you know. But you gonna know some of him before we get off of this live. That's for sure. You know, because he here to tell it, and he here to tell it just like it was, and just like it is today, and his future endeavors and what he wants to do. You know, after this. Thanks so much for those hearts, y'all. Give them hearts up. I love the hearts, Turk. You know what I mean? Because you gotta love them, exactly. You know what I mean? And I love those hearts. Y'all, look. I'm ready for Saturday. I hope you all are ready for Saturday. Mo, I hope you're ready for Saturday. You know, it's going to be a beautiful time, you know, for you all. It's going to be some special presentations, some, you know, some, the reward giving, you know, walking the perfect carpet, you know, and it's saying that it may rain. So, you know, if it rains, the carpet will be inside, not outside. You know, so either way, we're going to walk that carpet. Trust me. You follow? So if it does rain, if the carpet won't be on both sides of the building outside, it'll be inside the building. Just to, you know, hit everybody. I don't know if everybody keep up with the weather like that, you know, but I do. I look at it going all through the entire week, you know, praying and hoping that it don't rain, you know, but it is saying rain for Saturday. You know, so, you know, and the weather's change every day, you know, sometimes. So we're going to pray. Everybody put prayers up, you know, that it don't rain, but it's not going to be in a way if it does. Y'all, I'm going to give y'all Turk, you know what I mean? And we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, he's nervous, so I'm going to help him out, you know, in starting this thing off. And we're going to start this thing off, like I said. You know, you had to find God. Is that who you believe in?
I believe in God, yes.
In God, he had find God, a higher power greater than yourself, to help restore your sanity. Mm-hmm. That's our step 1 in the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. I'm going to turn you on to that because it may help you even more. Right. You know, that's my belief, and that's what helped me get better. Right. You know, when I did go to rehab. I've been to one rehab in my life, and I've been clean for a whole lot of years, yeah. You know, now I slipped in there a little trying to drink too, but that thing didn't work for me. Yeah, I had to live in, you know, let that thing go as well. You know, the cocaine I was all for years and years, you know, but that drinking I tried for a couple of years. That thing wasn't good at all.
That was the pills and the lean, and that was for years and years. And after I did that, I tried to sneak in the alcohol then the alcohol started affecting my seizures too, and I know how to leave all that shit alone.
Speaking of seizures, tell them how what you went through and how that started happening for you.
Well, for me,
these are some of the side effects of addiction.
Yeah, so for me, taking pills probably in my late teens to my late 20s, I eventually started having seizures, which you would call withdrawal seizures, because I would like go on binges, you would say. I would be popping pills, drinking lean forever for however duration of time, then I would stop, try to get myself together, and I do know that stop time, you go through that withdrawal period.
Right.
You're throwing up, you're sick, can't eat, whatever. And I guess over time and time, me repeating that'll cause some type of chemical imbalance in my brain where I start having seizures. So that's when I knew, yeah, I gotta leave this shit alone. I'm going to end up killing myself. And like you say, I still try to be sneaky and dibble and dabble, and it just ended up get worse.
So how long was it you were like actually on the what pills were they?
So my pill just was like Percocets.
Alright.
I started out, like my first stop popping pills, it was Xanax for some reason, but then I would I would always wake up the next morning with a big ass Wawa bag full of stuff, and I don't know how the hell I got it. Like, you lose that Wawa last night.
Oh my God, y'all hear that? He said he would wake up with a Wawa bag. I had an experience like that. Look, I was leaving my son's house, right? I was drinking alcohol, and I was leaving my son's house, lit up. And I lived in Chai. He lived in Brookhaven. It's a McDonald's in Brookhaven. I mean, on one side of where I live, and it's a Wawa on my side. I woke up in the bed with the food smashed all over me. I had a meatball hoagie from Wawa and a whole what you call that sandwich? The whole thing you get from McDonald's, Big Mac thing, right? Smashed up all over me. Don't know how or when. And I had to drive. I don't know which one was first, nothing. Right? Total blackout. You know, don't remember none of it with the bag in the bed and all that stuff too. So you see how sometimes some of the stories relate? That's crazy. That's ironic you said that. Yeah, I was tore up.
I stopped that way, and then I gradually started the Percocets. I don't even know why. It was more like a party thing. I think sex, honestly, because Percocets keep you up all night.
All night.
Yeah. So,
That's what they say. I never did Percocets, but just through my career, I've seen and learned so much about it. It's a vicious drug.
For sure.
Vicious. And now the ones that they make now are not even real. Yup, it's just dope in a pill. You know? Dope in a pill. And now they just adding fentanyl.
Yeah, it's crazy now.
Meth.
You don't know what they're taking.
And yeah, you don't know what you're taking. Yeah, so I thank God, and I'm so glad you're not doing it anymore.
For sure, definitely.
So this is how your seizure
stopping. So that just led to me and stuff.
Okay.
So every time I would take a pill, so nothing might not happen that night. So a day or two later after I don't take one, I'm gonna have a seizure or something. I'm gonna wake up with everybody over top of me looking at me like this. And I'm like, what the hell, y'all? You just had a fucking seizure. And they're like, we don't even know why you had them, but in the back of my mind, I know why.
You know why you had it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be sneaky and get away with that shit.
So yeah, you're gonna definitely try to act like it wasn't a drug or something that did it, but you know they know too. You know, you just think they don't know. Paramedics used to that thing. Hey Shelly, how you doing? This is Turk Girl. Yeah, it says Tent of Life is tuned in. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I appreciate you guys tuning in as well. We're talking about Turk. This is Turk, everybody who's just coming on. He's the speaker for the day. Turk is telling us about his drug of choice, which was Perks and what was the other?
Promethazine and codeine.
They
call it lean.
What they call it?
Promethazine and codeine.
Say it so they can hear.
Promethazine and codeine. Lean. That's what people call it.
They call the pills?
No, this is a drink.
Oh, it's a drink.
Yes.
Oh, that's a new one to me.
So you never heard of lean?
No, I have not.
So that's why I say this is this generation. The pills and the lean and all that shit.
Ah.
That's what we think is cool.
So the lean is a drink.
Yes.
Wow.
Definitely.
Wow, and it's made with what?
Promethazine and codeine mixed together.
Can y'all hear that?
Promethazine and codeine mixed together. Lean. I don't know.
Somebody has sent something. Hey, Stephanie.
Some hearts, yeah.
Yeah, they hear it. The hearts mean they hear it. Wow, I never heard of that one, y'all. See, I'm learning something. This is new to me. This is that new world of what they do out there. I tell you, every generation, you know, it's a new drug. And it's somewhat like the old drug. They just add something else to it or mix things together and come up with a name with it. You know, so lean. Why would they call it lean?
Because it makes you put you to sleep.
Is that the thing that people be like this outside?
That's that fentanyl. You see that?
Well, I see that's fentanyl, but I think that's more than fentanyl. I think that's the what they call
Tranquilizer.
trank.
Yeah.
I think that's trank. Yeah, that's a lot. That's trank. Yeah, and I know a lot about those particular ones.
Definitely.
Yeah. So lean, and that's a drink.
A drink, right?
So how do they come? Like how they buy them? In like a bottle or
No,
something?
you get it from the pharmacy. You gotta get approved from the pharmacy to get it, and it comes in a pint, 16 ounces or 8 ounces, and we would mix it in soda.
Wow.
Put candy in it.
They can't hear you.
But we would mix it in soda, put candy in it sometimes, and drink it. And
Wow. And that was your hobby.
our thing, yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's a new one on me there.
Mix that with the Percocets, be up all night.
Be all over the place.
Yeah. You know, in the streets, you doing whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So when with so is a kind of high like a speed?
No, it's more of a downer.
Oh, it's like a put you out.
It's gonna put you out, man.
Oh, it's more of a down.
That's why they mix it with the Percocets. With the Percocets to kind of keep you up. You drink the lean and take a
But
Percocet.
Percocets make you feel down too, don't it?
If you
Well,
take
for me,
it,
when I took it for
too
you
much,
know medical reason, like surgery or
put you
something,
to sleep.
it put me to sleep.
Yeah, that's people that don't. Yeah, that's not used to taking it.
Oh, but when you start taking them a lot, it actually have you up.
Sometimes, depending on what you take. Like you take a Perk 30, that's gonna put you to sleep. You got a Perk 5 or 10 or something like that, it might not put you to sleep.
It's crazy how they come in numbers.
That shit broken down.
Yeah, how they come in numbers. It's a what's that say? A conconscious mix. Yeah, Shelly. It's just new to me. I never heard of it. Hey, Sophia, I never heard of that. You know that's he's teaching me something with that one. So go ahead. So when you did it,
So over time, I just realized I had to stop or I was gonna kill myself. But like I said, I left that alone. Well, what actually made me stop is I had an accident behind the wheel. I had a seizure behind the wheel.
Oh, wow. Wow, you had a seizure behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, God bless you.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. That's because He needs you here to do what you're ready to soldier for.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I call I soldier for Him doing this. You know what I mean? We all do who spread the word. You know what I mean? And share our strength and hope. I call it soldiering.
Right.
Tracy, when time permits, check your message, please. Okay, Steph. Yeah, and because I love doing it.
Right.
I do it from the heart and the soul. You know what I mean? And it helps me help people.
Right.
You know, and people, all these beautiful people that comes on this live help me. You know what I mean? So bringing this to them, you know, in the younger world with a young, how old are you?
35.
He's 35, y'all. 35. Still a baby, far as we concerned. Y'all know how that rolls. And to have the heart and that love in him right now to share. Look at this, those hearts you're getting. And to share those strength and hope. And so we, you know, maybe you can recognize, that's right. Maybe you're getting comfortable, ain't you? I told you that. He'll take this mic over sooner or later, y'all. Yeah, you know, to come on here as a man, you know what I mean, and share your strength and hopes. I love it when the guys come on. I love it because it seems like it's harder for the guys to really share. You know,
much pride.
Too much. Say it again.
Too much pride. Ego.
I get that all the time. You know, at work, the ego and the pride is big. You hear me?
You live off that, though.
Yeah, and then they don't want to be like, man, he went on there talking about all that shit, snitching and shit. And it ain't snitching. It's helping damn people. That's what it is. He's saving his life, you know, and it takes a heck of a person to be able to do this, you know, and I'm proud of you. I'm so proud, and Tara has to be proud. You know, I can hear it in her voice. You know what I mean? When she was talking to me, she was like, I'm surprised he just wanted to do this now. I said, that's what she said. She said, he quiet. You know, and that's real hard for a quiet person to be getting high.
I was in the dark. You said getting high?
Yeah.
Hard for the quiet people to get high?
Yeah.
Why you say
Like,
that?
because you don't expect it. You don't expect, you know, he's a good kid. He comes to be raised excellently well. Huh?
I mean, it's probably new for a lot of people. Anybody that's watching this probably wouldn't know unless you knew me to know that.
That you
You
got
wouldn't
high.
know that I was getting
So
high.
you was one of them undercovers.
I mean,
Like not letting people see.
yeah,
So
I mean,
was you in the
I
street?
I was in the streets. Yeah.
You was in the streets?
Yeah, for sure. That's from the streets. Yeah.
Right.
Everybody is in the streets.
So that's society. I call it society. That's society.
But it was a part of our lifestyles. Like everybody was getting high. So
Right.
It wasn't like we was doing something nobody else was doing.
Yeah, okay, I got you. I got you. So it was just a normal thing.
Yeah. This was our.
It's your way of getting high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when we used to be sitting outside on the step, y'all smoking weeds and all that kind of stuff. This their way of partying. That's what you're saying? Yeah, I can understand that. You know. What's up, Amir? They go murder my son. Amir, yeah. Erica said, give yourself a pat on the back. You look nothing like you said. What you've been through. Nobody but God. That's what she's saying to you. You know, you don't look like you got beat up like that. You know what I mean? But he got an after effect of it that has affected his life forever. You know, and that's the most important part that he was telling me that he wants to share about. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna let you share about your seizures.
It's like
you know,
said, it don't look like it, but that's my whole thing. Because the young kids think this shit is cool. When you see me outside, you're gonna look like, oh, I want to be like him. I want to dress like him. I want to look like him. You got pretty girls and all that.
Yeah.
But the streets come with a dark side.
It comes with a dark side.
It's a
That's
dead
that old
end for
stinking
us.
society. I can't stand it.
Yeah,
I can't stand that stinking behind society. It makes me sick. That was my first drug. And that's what I consider being yours too. Because when you go out there and you learn all these things, you're doing what you know. Yeah. You're doing what you
I don't
know.
know no better. But
Yeah. Because everybody else doing it. This is the thing. This is what
I
we
always
do.
say our society thinks being dumb is cool. We think the dumb shit is cool instead of going to school and learning.
And I was the same
trying to get
way.
the hell up out of here.
And look at the difference in our ages. I was the same way. I quit school 3 times in the 9th grade, all in 1 year. No, 3 years in a row. I mean, you know what I mean?
I graduated honestly because they knew I was smart and I was a good kid. But my senior year, I barely went to school. I was going to school when I wanted to.
Did you end up graduating?
I did graduate.
Yeah.
That's what my mom wanted.
Yeah, your mom, yeah. Tara said, you're going to get your butt through school.
She was going to make sure I graduated. I had to do that.
Yeah, so tell us about the seizures.
Seizures?
Tell us some of the stories that you experienced with it. Like how often, you know.
So like I said, I would have them every time I don't say every time I would get
Was it
high.
only when you got high? Or
It would
is
be
like
more
it doesn't
of-
happen now?
Like now it would be if I went on because I don't get high, I don't pop pills or none of that now. So if I tried to drink some liquor and I went on a binge of maybe a week or so drinking,
It happened.
the ones I stop, maybe the next couple of days of me stopping, my body's gonna call back for something.
Right.
That's when I had that.
That's when you had the seizure.
Yeah. So that's what they call like a withdrawal. They call
Yeah,
it
it's a
withdrawal
withdrawal.
episode.
Oh, it's called withdrawal epilepsy?
Yeah, so that's
Oh,
what
okay.
It's not like when I'm getting high, it's more of the down period. Like
The down period. Wow, y'all hear that? Can y'all hear him? Because he sounds soft to me right here. I'm just making sure y'all can hear him. He just have that soft tone. You know? I bet you when you was...
I gotta get me a mic or something, because I'm terrible at everything.
Yeah, I got mics, but I don't know how to connect
I
them.
say, yeah, we gonna do some more. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I got a mic. It might be not charged. Yeah, I got mics. I just don't know how to connect them.
Okay.
You know?
Somebody like me, yeah.
You know, you mess with the technology?
I'm saying
Oh, shoot.
gonna need it.
Nah, but I'm gonna have all that though because I got them working on my back, which I'm actually gonna make the spot for this the studio. Yeah. So I got that coming. You know, but right. Huh?
Saying yes, they get
Yeah, so for me, you know, like I told you, I crawl before I walk. And anything that I do, I'm gonna master it before it's all over with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because this thing is working and I want them to get it in every way that they possibly can. People tell me I should start a podcast. I like the live.
Right.
I like being a part of it with them. You know what I mean? I like the feedback that comes with it. You know, like I can see it. You know what I mean?
But honestly, you can do the podcast and just live your podcast. You can shoot the podcast live.
You see, you telling me something.
Yeah.
You know, but that means that I would have to have people come and do it before or live like I'm doing it right now.
It would be similar to what you're doing now. So you would just be on live, and you would just have your podcast going, and you just record it, and you would drop it on your page as far as your podcast episodes. So whoever don't catch it live, then they'll go on your platform and find it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, you know I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, so that'd be perfect. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and Hulu coming next.
Yeah.
Yep.
You on Instagram? You got your Instagram?
I think I'm on Instagram, but
TikTok,
not like I'm on this. You know, so all that's being taken care of now.
So you around?
And sometimes I go on Instagram and I don't see my lives, but I see cuts.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Instagram more for, the little.
Little chopped up cuts. Yeah.
With your little best.
Yeah, and the TikTok thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so all that is done, but I see more. Hey, y'all, I love the hearts. Thank you so much. I love the hearts. Hey, heart. Yeah, I love to see how they come on. I tell you, they file in, they come on, they get it in for us, you know. So, and they come on for the information. So let's talk some more about maybe some episodes that you had. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I had about 3, 4 car accidents where I probably should be dead for.
Dang, 3 or 4. Whoa! And the people, you got to look out for the people who
you didn't hit.
That you didn't hit. Yeah.
I woke up. One time I woke up in a hospital bed, handcuffed. Imagine that feeling. Remember
hey, my Roxy.
The last one the last one I was telling you about, the last one I had that made me officially stop the promethazine and all that.
That was from an accident you had?
I had an accident because the night before I had that seizure, I tried to be sneaky, like I said, sneak and drink a little lean, and I wound up going to work the next day. And as I'm going to work, I could feel myself like feeling drowsy and going. That's
that after effect. Yeah. That's that hunger.
Yeah. But that's the phase you feel before you have a seizure as well. You
start
feeling a little foggy, a little like sleepy, like your body's
So you're saying you can feel it coming?
Yeah. You can feel it
wow.
So as I'm going through my day, I'm like, all right, let me hurry up. But at this time, I'm not taking this seizure shit serious, I'm honest with you.
Oh, so you weren't taking it serious?
I never really believed I was epileptic because I always felt like this shit.
That's denial. That's a part of addiction, yeah.
Wow. Ended up where I ended up because I'm thinking it's just from me getting high. If I start getting high, this shit gonna stop. But it wasn't that simple. And every time you still try to sneak and get high, so you're not gonna stop that way. So you gotta stop completely.
So when you got high, right? And you saying that I'm going through this with him because he never did 12 steps or been to a rehab, everybody. He did this. You know, we talk about some people could just stop on their own. Well, he's one of those people who stopped on their own, you know, with his will and finding God in his life, correct? That is powerful and that is strong. You know, I share that. I share that everybody don't get rehab. Right. You know what I'm saying? But to share with you is a lot of tools and education. Right. And I call it medication. I call the education the medication. The healing part of having a structure to fall back on. You know what I mean? For some of the things you may not understand or know. And you may be doing a lot of it. Right. You know what I mean? Because it's based off of a religious program, but the steps is just a way of life to start living a normal lifestyle again. You know what I mean? Some structure. So it's a guideline. Like, you know, for me, it's everything. I live by it, die by it. You know, that's how it's going to be for me. Yeah, that's the blueprint for me, you know. So I'm going to turn you on to the 12 steps as well. Okay. You know, you might can get something out of that. Because in a lot of these, you know, sharing with people, we need information that we can turn them on to. Because a lot of people is not strong like you. Cause I know I'm not. I tried 1,000 times to stop on my own, and none of them worked. I thought they worked. One would be for 2 months, it'd be for 4 months, you know, it might be for 3 weeks, you know, 2 weeks, you know, but I still somehow had that little voice and urge in my head that convinced me that I can go ahead and do it now because I'm stronger. You know what I mean? It made me feel like I was stronger. You know, how did your drug of choice do? Did it make you feel like that? Like, what did it take you through when you stopped and you started back, or you had the accident and you still had the urge for it? Explain that to us.
Like I said, to me, it was more of the lifestyle. Like, I'm from the streets. It's like I said, this is something we do just because. Like, I got some people, friends that rap. We all hustle, so just for us to be up all night, this is what we did to be.
You just got high like we smoke weed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We smoke weed at the same time. All this shit mixing it together. So this was just the lifestyle at the time. So like I said, eventually it just took a toll on me. You see it taking a toll on people around you.
Oh wow,
and
yes.
Everybody's not like me. Like, I was getting high, but I wasn't going to the extreme where you can see I'm taking maybe 1-2 pills a day.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us will go to 10 pills.
10 pills, yeah.
So, like she said, I don't look like it, but I was there. So
right.
It's all the same effect. It's all just how you handle it.
Right, right.
And everybody's journey is different. Like you said, yours, then you couldn't stop by yourself.
I heard voices. My voice is, we call it disease. Okay?
It's trauma as well.
It's definitely trauma. And disease causes that.
Right.
You know, we call it disease because I know when I would want to get high, or I was getting ready to be sneaky, or trying to figure out my strengths with it, not understanding that I had a sickness. Okay. You know, for me it's a sickness. You know, and I have to always know that for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I'll be living with this little hussy. I call her Trey Trey. You know, because she once had total control of my brain and my emotions, and she put my brain in pieces. Okay. You know, so I lost a lot of me. You following? Did you go through that?
Yeah, definitely. I would say I lost more of my inspiration than me. More like what I was in the streets for. Because then now I'm just caught up in the streets. It's a cycle now. I'm just spinning it. I feel like I'm running in a fucking circle instead of. Because I wasn't in the streets to be in the streets. I was trying to get my money and get the fuck up out of here. So
okay.
For me, it was like now it got to a point where I'm looking. I got kids now. So
right.
I'm not as far off as I planned to be.
So you was hustling.
For sure.
In other words.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, it's like I didn't think I was gonna see 18, but once I seen 18, it's like shit. Now I can.
Now I'm convinced. I'm good. I know I can do it.
I got like say master something. I mastered the streets. To be
right.
honest. I'm not a person in the streets you look at and be like, the young boys want to be like me.
Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah.
One of them people in the streets. So when I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing the motivation I have on people, and I'm like, bro, this shit not it though.
Yeah.
You think you're gonna follow behind the shit I did and make it? Chances are this slim, bro. You're not gonna make it 9 times out of 10. I'm lucky to fucking be here.
Right.
I don't know how many times I should be dead. So for you to try to take this path, it's like, no, now I got a son who's looking at me every day, who's seeing this shit. So I can't preach to him, bro, you can't be in the streets. But I'm like, no, that nigga, you in the streets.
Right, right. I mean,
you
that's
telling me not to get high, the nigga, you get high.
But you get high.
So now you're contradicting yourself. Now you look like a fool. So it's like, now I got to make a choice. I got to lay this shit alone if I want him to really follow that path and
God
do that.
bless. Amen for that one. I'm telling you. Yeah.
But even because he was asking my dad why you want to do this, and because he knows.
So he watched some of your failing. You watched some of your.
I had so I was in a dark point. I sent the video out to my family of me literally crying to myself in a room, just telling them all the shit I was going through at the time because the seizures was fucking me up so bad.
It was messing you up.
I never understood depression really like that. Never took depression serious. I never really took like suicide serious. After that moment, I knew what all that shit felt like. Because I was that depressed.
You was in all of that. You was in that moment.
I felt that shit, so it was different.
Wow.
So once I sent that out to everybody, everybody kind of was like, damn. And I was just like, but through that phase, it was just like, only thing I could think of that could make me feel good is to send this message to somebody, teach somebody, and try to help somebody not to do this shit that I did.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
That was just the only thing. That's why I said, my mom mentioned you to me, shit, at a platform. I was like, yeah, tell her I want to do it. We can do it.
Right.
But my mind first was stuck on, like you said, getting everything set up.
Right.
But then I was like, fuck it, let's just
go on. Yeah, that's what I did. I had to just go on. You know what I mean? Because I was planning too. Oh, I planned for almost 2 years.
Then you start overthinking.
Then you overthink. Yeah. Then you want exactly. And I call that. For me, that's my sickness talking to me. Because it don't want me to do that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because that's the devil. You say the devil, that's what I call disease. You know what I mean? I call it all as the devil too. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is why I love this, y'all, because we talking in languages. You know what I mean? I'm talking in my recovery language, and you talking straight from the soul, but you're saying the same thing. Yeah, so this is the purpose of being on here and having different people, share how their recovery is theirs. You know what I'm saying? And how, mine. What works for one may not work for the next person. But the message that you get from it on either side is awesome. And the truth that you get from it is better. It's better. That's right. It's the best part of it. That's what I was getting ready to say. It's the best part of it because you're sharing your truth, man. You're sharing your real, authentic self. You know what I mean? And the best way to handle this and deal with it is to be authentic with it. You know what I mean?
Somebody said, how did you get yourself off pills? I just stopped, honestly.
Told you, he's comfortable now. He catching the day.
Well, I ain't gonna say I just stopped. I almost killed myself. I had no choice but to stop. I got kids, so I had to leave the pills alone. Then that's when like I told you, I tried to supplement that for alcohol. And that's when I learned I can't even put alcohol like that.
Go ahead.
So it was just like, yeah, I can leave.
That's the same as we saying in recovery that you can't substitute one drug for the next. So you telling me the same thing and you did this all on your own. That's awesome. That is so real. That is so awesome. My sister used to get high too, and she stopped on her own. And her motivation and strengths and hope came from church. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, if it's a rock, I don't care what it is, you gotta have.
Are you Christian?
Huh?
Are you Christian?
I'm not Christian.
I'm not anything.
Yeah,
I believe.
Me too. You know what I'm saying?
My dad
Me
was
too.
Muslim, and my mom.
Yeah, and it's half the family is Muslim and half is Christian. Yeah. Now I have total respect.
Yeah, you got to.
For every religion.
Because it's all the same.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Now I was raised. Excuse me. I'm sorry, y'all. I was raised a Christian. Okay. Yeah. My mother had me in church every day. You know what I mean? Mostly every day, almost, yeah. And yeah, in jail. Well, that's true. But that's true too. That's true too.
Sure.
But and I never really learned the Bible. Okay. I learned little songs, but never. I was never deep into it. And as I was little and I went through things, you know what I mean? I used to pray. At least I thought I prayed to ask God to save me, and help me, and I never got that. I never felt that. You know what I mean? And I guess I know now today that I suppressed a lot of things, but when I found, I was mad at God. Right. You know what I mean? And when I went to rehab is where I become reborn with him, from my sister, my cousin, his name was Levert Tye. He was a pastor also and a recovering addict, and Doc Watson. He was just, everybody had the house, you ain't gonna mess with this one. He gonna tear that butt up. Back then you was listening. For sure. It wasn't like the rehabs and stuff now. And I found they taught me how to pray. They taught me how to listen. Now, once I learned how to listen, I was able to hear them. Once I was able to hear them, I had my attention, so now I could see. You know what I mean? And then I was able to make choices and decisions for me. Right. And that's what they taught me through that and introduced me to the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. So that is my guideline. That's like going to my Bible. That's like going to my peace, my serenity. You know what I mean? That allowed me to know God and love God. And today I'm just crazy over God. You know what I mean? I put him before anything.
Once you feel it, it's different.
Say it again.
Once you feel it, it's different.
Absolutely. I got it.
Let me ask you this, because I would say, like, the biggest thing for me getting out of that dark space was finding self-happiness. Because you could say, like, I love my kids. That's my motivation to do it. Yeah, yeah. You still might revert back to your old habits. So I feel like you need to find that self-peace or self-something.
Yeah. Because when people used to tell me, you don't love them kids, you out here doing all this and doing all that. I love my kids. I couldn't stand to hear that. I couldn't stand. They need to take them kids. They don't need to take my damn kids. You know what I mean? Now them fighting words now. You know what I mean? Now I'm pissed. Because you telling me I don't love my kids. I do love my kids. But cocaine loved me more. You know what I mean? Which made me love it more. You know, which I didn't know would become a disease that became cunning, baffling, and powerful. You found something I couldn't understand.
Sure.
I just didn't understand it, and I didn't know why I couldn't stop.
Right.
You know, but don't tell me I'm not trying to stop, because I'm trying to stop.
For sure.
Don't tell me I'm not trying to stop, because I am. So this is one of the main important reasons for this live, so people can understand that. It ain't like we just go and get hooked. You know what I mean? It's a process. It's a process in getting hooked on drugs and alcohol.
Everybody start for different reasons.
Everybody start for a different reason. I had a ball when I started.
That was my shit.
You know what I mean? That was my scapegoat.
And some people being down places, that's what made
Exactly. That thing made me feel like I was the shit. You know what I mean?
I'm a superhero. You can't fuck with people.
I'm that girl. You know? Yeah, I'm that girl.
You can't find nowhere.
Yeah, and I did that weed, crank, coke, all that kind of stuff. But when it got to smoking that shit, oh, Heavenly Father, the first time I took a hit, I was addicted.
Yeah.
And didn't even know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And didn't even know it. I chased it from that day. That day, I was running after that thing. Everything I had went to it just to try to get it. And never did I feel that sensation twice. Never. The whole time I got high. I got crazier, nuttier, smaller, doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, what's crazy is I don't know what. But, I didn't think people see that. You know what I mean? They could see me, see that. Until I was down to like 82.5 pounds. I mean, I was toe up because I was always a tiny little thing anyway. But I couldn't hold money. I couldn't hold anything of value. You know what I mean? I sold myself. I had to run. I had to do everything I possibly could because that hunger is like a vampire that gotta have blood. You feel me? It's like that.
It's coming. Sure.
That gotta have blood. And that thing gonna make you go nuts. The feeling, did you experience that?
Yeah, at times, like I said.
Oh man, that thing was terrible.
Yeah.
That thing was terrible.
But like I said, I was in the streets, so I was getting money, so it wasn't like I had to chase it.
Diane said, that's my sister, she said, God comes when we are weak and he is strong. That is our faith in all religions. I agree with that. You know what I mean? I think people have the right to choose whom they want, and that's what NA and AA is all about. Bill and Bob are the founders of it, right? And they gave us this platform to be able to make choice of whom you choose to call your God, because that's a big part in it. It's such a big, matter of fact, it's the guideline. You know what I mean? It's the first thing first. You gotta have it. It's the first thing first, yeah. You know, some people are atheists, some people just, don't believe in Christianity, some don't believe in Islam, some don't believe in Buddha, whatever the case may be. But I love them all, to tell you the truth, because I know your God works for whatever, and I think at the end of the day, when we all go to heaven, the ones of us who have cleansed ourselves and fixed ourselves and God see all, I know that, you know what I mean? I feel like we all will meet there, you know what I mean? Because it's really only one. That high power is the being, and there's only one to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my opinion.
I feel like it's like everybody's kind of saying the same thing, but it's like if you have 10 people in the room and something happened, and everybody go out and tell a story, it's all gonna come out in different.
It's all gonna come out. Exactly, I agree with that. That's a nice scenario. I like that. Hey, look, you got it going on, y'all. Hi, Rosetta. This young man got it going on. He's talking about, him, his aftermath of his addiction. Left him with seizures, epilepsy, and he's explaining to us, his run in his drug and street addiction, because being out in the streets is an addiction as well. You get adrenaline from that too.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's hard to come out the streets.
Yeah, that's probably more of what chased me back to the high, just the streets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to come out them streets, man, especially when you society, and you got to be dedicated to that. You know what I mean?
Hey, you gotta marry the streets.
Yeah, you gotta marry him. That's your wife. That's your man, your wife, and everything. Just like drugs become to us. You know what I'm saying? So you was battling two addictions. 2 at once, right? That's awesome. I mean, that's powerful.
But a lot. I mean, that's the society we live in for everybody that typically come from the streets, typically get an eye on the low. So they all end up battling the same thing. They just catch you later. Some people, like you said, go to alcohol. Some go to whatever vice they get. But
yeah, well, a lot of people that sell on the streets, you know, they got to be in the bars and be, you know, doing what they're doing. It's a lot of, not everybody, but a lot do. Hey, D, that's my sister, my other sister that's watching. Yeah, she knows your mom too.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Tara's son, D. Everybody who know Tara Martin, this is Tara's son, you know, and he's sharing about his addiction in battling, you know, his sickness to drugs as well as to the street. He brought that in it too, and I commend you for that. Give me a hug for that one, though. I commend you for that. You know, I had another guy on here, his name was Gene, who's going to be, you know, receiving an award too. You know, he did 20 years in prison, and he shared his battle on the street, you know, as well. I think you guys are great to come on here and do that and put this message out to young folks and allow the parents and the loved ones to understand, you know, that addiction, you know, to that part. This is going to help so many. How many people does this help in what he's saying? You know, show him some hearts if what he's saying is useful and helpful to you, you know, and give him some kudos. You know, y'all, I call it kudos, you know, because this young man is powerful to me than he could have ever been on the street. Just being on here right now, you know, doing what he does. I mean, doing what he's doing. Look at that. You know what I mean? He's going to help us help save other people's lives. You know what I mean? His main thing to me was what? I want to reach to what?
The youth.
Say it again.
The youth, the kids. Try to prevent them from making the same mistakes I made.
Absolutely. And a lot of it, you tell someone about your son, like you and your son's situation.
Yeah, well, me and my son, I'm very transparent with my son, so he know everything. I don't say everything, but he know most of what I've been through and the life.
That's how me and my boys was, yeah.
Gotta tell the truth because eventually they're gonna see it anyway, or they're gonna hear about it. So it's always, before anybody tell you something,
you rather tell that. See that, y'all? Me too. I said I'd rather tell my peeps. You know what I mean? So they don't have to hear nothing. I told my mom everything. She didn't like. I mean, she was hurt from what I was saying.
Never told my mom anything. So
she told me that. I said you never really told her.
To nobody.
But then you just up.
Like I said, it was.
And said something to her.
Yeah, about this. Yeah.
Yeah. This is your first time? Really?
Yeah,
like talk
open. She don't know none of this shit.
Yeah, I
is. This is all gonna be new.
Tara, I hope you watching. I hope you got on this live. He said that his mom didn't know any of this like this. That's wow.
You know, tell my mom. I didn't have a mom. I didn't have to be in the streets. You know.
I know you didn't. What? Yeah. And that's what I said. He comes from a
great mom.
Upbringing, a great mom. Exactly.
The best mom.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. You know, and to end up in the street, that's like, wow, that's like any mother. My mom couldn't believe I did what I did either. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I don't think any mother, you know.
Not supposed to, though.
Yeah, and then today, this live is going to help us moms and moms after us and all to be aware of what's going on out there. You know what I mean? And how, you know, our kids get caught up. I tell you, I can't stand society. It irks the shit out of me. It really does. Because that's where we get started. That's where we get connected with everything in the streets. You know, around what we call in recovery, people, places, and things. See, I can understand all of it real good. I can see it now. The rain is going. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a program. You know what I mean? I have a direction. I have information. And I was being educated on it. You follow what I'm saying? And then just to stick with it and stay with it because I never let it go. You know what I mean? And I always follow my 12 steps. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people get down, they go in the Bible and recite, you know, the whole scripture out the Bible. I'm not strong at that. I can do it, but I can go to those 12 steps and break them down like it ain't nothing. You know what I mean? It hit home. So does the scriptures in the Quran, in the Bible, you know, and any type of literature somebody gives me. I have been able and blessed to connect to whatever works for me. From it and process it. Yeah.
That's why education is important, for sure.
Yeah. That's
Some
why
people
when
aren't
I
even smart enough to process what you're telling them.
exactly some people don't.
You can tell them
but in recovery, you know, coming from like rehab style, you know, I call what we do our own language.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you said, you got some people can't read, some people can't speak right. You know, some people have a hard time understanding. We have mental health in there. We have psych. You know, in this. So today you got to be prepared to, you know, change the lingo. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And what you doing right now? Just being on here, Shano, you hear me getting a little cry up in there almost. I'm not gonna do it, though.
I'm gonna start crying.
I'm not gonna do it because I'm so proud of you.
I thought I was
you know?
gonna be here crying. You know, I told you that on the phone.
You told me. You told me. I know. I heard it in your voice on the phone. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, this is just like this. This is my thing right here. This makes me happy. You know, just to, you know, hear you, you know, share what you sharing. You know what I mean? And a lot of us, our kids is stuck out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My friends and family is exactly. It was that I see it all around. That's why it's so messed up to me, because you see family and friends just deteriorate in front of you.
Just deteriorate. That's a hurt piece.
Yeah, that hurt.
So I mean, and me as being one of those people who, you know, was being watched to deteriorate. You know what I mean? Like my sisters and them, they was, my sister D, my sister Hud, you know, they was always, you know, for me, you know, and talking about I wouldn't want my other sisters and them to see me, you know, or my mom. And I used to go to my mom's house every time, you know, I was coming down. So to me, my mom never saw me high, but my mother saw me high. Coming down is still high. You know. Yeah, you ain't not high until you
not high, for sure.
But in our minds, I wasn't getting high in front of them. That's the crazy part. She never seen me with a pipe. You know what I mean? But she saw a part of the effect of what it done, and I stuck by that. I told my mom, you ain't never seen me high. My mother said, girl. Exactly. And that night she shut that door on me and she said, you're high. And you will not come back here until you get yourself together. Yeah. And you would have thought that would have changed something. Right. That I stayed out there for a while, especially knowing that, you know, she had my kids. You know what I mean? Then you hearing everything talking about, her mom they took her kids. You know what I mean? That was fighting words too. You know what I mean? I thank every single person who had a part of getting my children, my boys, you know what I'm saying? And having them with them as I was out there crazy out of my mind. I thank them all. Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you. And this is what I share with my clients. Don't be mad at them because you can't take care of them. You can't even focus on these children. That is a fact. You know what I mean? Then you got some just nasty people out there wanting to call children's and newborn. You knowing you got a family that's going to do what they got to do. But people is just like that. Some people are just mean. You know what I mean? But they look at you being a junkie, looking at you being all hied up. You know what I mean? And they hate the fact that you hied up, so they'll use that against you. Mm-hmm. For sure. Exactly, they'll use that against you. You know what I mean?
Knowing you're still a good-hearted person.
Knowing the person that you really are. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because this thing takes anybody out. I don't care who you are. It takes out pastors, a lot of them. It takes out a lot of religious people. You know what I'm saying? That drink a bunch of wine and all that stuff, be alcoholics. I had one a person who called me because she was a pastor, but she drank, you know, wine. You know what I mean? And realized that she has a problem. You know what I mean? And I was like, look, I'm not a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, but I can give you some information that I have. You know what I mean? But you got to take the process and work on your own. You know what I mean? But it's beautiful for, you know, when somebody steps up to the game with you like that, you know, and share, because the most important advice that I can give anybody is don't try it by yourself. What you say?
Yeah, definitely. You need some help. That's why I sent that message. I needed help at that point. I was the person.
And what did you do? You sent a video?
Video. There's a recording of myself sitting in the room. literally crying, telling everybody how I felt.
And this was that sharp dude out there hustling, doing what you do.
This is what I wanted everybody to see. I wanted motherfuckers to see this is what this shit do to you for real. Like, it looked good from outside looking in.
Yeah,
but this shit fucks you up.
You can show them if they can see that.
This is 15 minutes. I just want
they can't see it.
It's a 15-minute video. I take forever to buffer, but it's 15 minutes long. And it's just me sitting talking to myself.
Just telling you, telling the truth.
Yeah.
Telling the truth.
Was holding it in
Scared.
the whole time. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Yeah, didn't know whether or not you was gonna die the next minute or.
Next time I go to sleep, this shit might be over. So,
it might be over.
At least let me get something out.
Yeah, but I thank God that you got through it. I do.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? You know why? I feel like He saved us because He need us to use us.
For something.
You know what I'm saying? Because I soldier my butt off with this. You know what I mean? And it's working.
Yeah.
It's working.
Because it's real.
You know? And you still got haters. You still got people who want to sabotage. You still got, you know what I mean? It's okay.
Yeah,
because you got people who wants it and needs it. And this speaks volumes. You follow what I'm saying? So all that don't even bother me. You know what I mean? I can look right past it. You know what I mean?
One person on
say it again.
As long as you got one, that's what
say it again. I'm telling you, boy, we connected so big, you just don't know how. I told you it was going to happen, didn't I? Sure. I told you when we start talking and we start rolling, this is what they used to tell me in rehab. If it's one person, that's all you need. It don't have to be a million, because one can start two, and two can start three. You know what I mean? And before you know it, like NA and AA has been so successful, you got billions. You know what I mean? It started with two people. One at first, Bill and Bob. And now look at it. You know what I mean? Hey, look, I'm grateful for them. I am so grateful for them, you know, because they showed me a way to restore my sanity. All you have to do was come to believe in it. You know what I'm saying? And like I didn't have that opportunity when I was young to get to believe in church, and I seen so much in them. You know what I mean? So much crazy stuff. You know, the preacher, everybody. Oh man, did I? And when I was in my addiction, they didn't even want me in there. You know what I mean? I went through a situation with that. You follow? And the pastor told him, "Let me stay." You follow? I can see Wood say that. I see him out there too.
you knew what was really going on.
Boy, stop! You play with me if you want. What? And that just going to show how cunning, battling, and powerful the thing is. But it was so much to grab them puzzle pieces. You know, to put my brain back together again, you know, and put the right pieces in the right space. It's like a big puzzle, and you got to build this picture. You know what I'm saying? And you got to pick the right pieces in order for the picture to come to life. You know what I'm saying? And then those pieces would allow your emotions to become friends. You know, the brain and the emotions is back together again, because one can't work without the other. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I love this. I really do. I love this. I appreciate you coming on here. Shoot, I mean, you sound. Hey, look, we sound a whole lot alike. You know what I mean? So, what type of what type of podcast you want to start, y'all? He wants to start his own podcast, and when he comes on, you know, we can show him some love the same way y'all show me some love, but we can get some, you know, try to get some younger people to come on and listen and see, because this is going to have younger people to want to come on, you know, to let you know you're not by yourself. You are not a coward, man. You are a king. You hear what I'm saying? You are a king, and you're going to do great with that. You just got to continue to do it. I don't care how many people come on this thing. Just keep doing it. That's what I did. And now I got a whole bunch of people. You know, and it'll just continue to grow. And they'll share it, you know, with their people, and it just gets shared and shared. And then people start watching this thing, because I get some pretty interesting people that calls me about this. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay, even like with that Hulu thing, like I have to take it one day at a time, you know, because I know that I'm not there yet. It'll get there. When God say it's going to get there, it'll get there. I'll feel it. You know what I mean? And right now, I'm just not. You know, because if I do go, I want to go thorough.
And you want to be comfortable.
And I want to be right. Yeah, I want to be right. You know, this is my beginning, and I'm loving it. It's my comfort space. Yup.
Sure.
I am so comfortable. They know me. Even if they'll tell me sometimes, where's your glasses? You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be all like this. I love that. You know what I mean? Or when I have my technical difficulties. I always got it. At the beginning, man, I had heads upside down trying to do it the video way, you know what I mean? But a lot of people, when I say we can do a video, they say, no, I want to sit on the couch. Now the couch is real, you know what I'm saying? Because that was my plan, you know, to have people come sit on the couch with me once I got through the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous on it. That's the first 12 episodes that I had when I first started. You know what I mean? And then we went into, you know, sharing and getting it in. And I called it the couch. You know what I mean? And this couch done had 26 people come here. And you make 27.
27. You're rolling.
Come here and sit on this couch.
Tell their story.
And tell their story.
That's beautiful. Definitely.
Speak up.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because you sounding like this again. Yeah,
sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, that's, you know, like,
sorry.
speak it up. You know? You
I'm
know?
trying,
And for me, I am so, so grateful and so much gratitude for this. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, these people come on and, hey, Sharon, people come on, Rabia, what's happening? And they share, back with me, you know, and come on and watch every Wednesday. You know what I mean? And now when I go out, you know, places, Delaware, you know what I mean? Yeah, Philly, yeah, Chester, people recognize me. You got that live.
That's you.
Is that you on the live? You know what I mean? That is God's work. He's telling me that I'm doing exactly what he wants me to do. You know what I mean? And what I promised that I would do. You know what I mean? And I'm going to continue to do it for as long as I possibly can. You follow? Because I need it too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's not just for them, it's for me too. You know what I mean? So you're going to get that. Yeah, it's therapy like, you know what I mean? You know, when you start this, you know, every Wednesday, if you ain't even made a meeting virtually or going to a meeting like for me in the rooms, you know what I mean? I have one every Wednesday.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was told you don't even go to the meetings. Oh, what works for me may not work for you, boo. I have a meeting every Wednesday. I got a meeting every time I go to work. You know what I mean? And if that's what works for me,
right,
that's how it's going to be. You know what I mean? You worry about you.
Exactly.
You follow what I'm saying? I ain't programmed to what you programmed to. You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm authentic. I'm Tracy. You know what I mean? And I live by the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. And I don't give two who's who.
Got something to say about
Got something to say about that. You follow what I'm saying?
Sure.
Absolutely, because everybody have their own and everybody live their own.
True.
And again, you know, I share mine just like you share yours. You follow? Yeah. You know, and I grow every day, all the time. Because see, it's not like I know everything.
Right, you learning.
Yeah, I ain't telling people what they gotta do.
Right.
You know, I'm suggesting people what they can do. You follow what I'm saying? It's up to you
to make your decision.
To make your decisions. You follow me? And that's the best thing, you know, that you can give somebody.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that you can give somebody. And I'm so proud of every last one of you that came on here. This is why I'm giving you guys an award-winning purple carpet dinner. You know what I'm saying? We're going to all get together and come out and enjoy ourselves. You know, I'm going to have it live, you know what I'm saying, and televised once it's done. You follow? We got photographers, music, entertainment, you know, awesome dinner. And I just want the site to be beautiful, you know, because you are beautiful, every single one of you. And I appreciate you tuning in with me every week, you know what I mean, and helping people, you know, see this by sharing it. And all, you know, I don't have a lot of terminology of the talk of the Facebook and all that stuff, but y'all know where I'm going. Y'all know what I'm saying. You follow, as long as that word is getting around, you know what I mean? That all
spread it out on the IG, the TikToks.
Yeah, that's
everything.
all that matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what time that says. Yeah, we're gonna go a little bit more. You know what I mean? So, for the ones of you that are just popping on, this is Turk. You know, Turk is in recovery. Turk didn't go to rehab, y'all. Turk found a higher power greater than himself, and it helped him restore his sanity. You know how we talk about, you know, everybody don't want to go to rehab or don't feel as though rehab will work for them. You know what I mean? And like I said, you know, however you get recovery is important. However you get recovery, you know, I know there has to be someone greater than yourself. You know what I mean? Because you can't, it's hard to do this in a dark place. Dark places take you dark places. You know what I'm saying? You know, without, you know, that. It says Diane replied to Tracy, how long have you been clean?
Only about 6 months right now.
6 months, y'all. He coming with strong words. 6 months. That is awesome. Come on, y'all. Give him them hearts. 6 months. He's been clean. This man suffering from seizures. You know, epilepsy. Mm-hmm. He suffers from the aftermath of this beating of drugs and alcohol. And he is a survivor at this point. 6 months. Let me tell you something. One day is great. One day is a lot of time.
One day at a time.
One day, say it again.
One day at a time.
One day at a time, absolutely. You know, and now you up to 6 months because a day starts a minute. A minute becomes the hour. The hour becomes the day. The day becomes the week. The week becomes the month. The month becomes the year. You know what I'm saying? So each day is how we do this thing. You know, Sharon, he got 6 months, babe. 6 whole months. You know what I mean? And his heart is in the right places. And his mind is in the right places. So we're going to give God the glory for that. You know what I mean? Because his higher power is God, right?
Sure.
That's how I see it too. I don't have to have a name or none of that for him. You know what I mean? I just know he's there, and I know he is vicious. You understand? And I know disease can't whoop him. You know what I mean? Disease was whooping me, not him. You know what I mean? And I found him to whoop disease. You follow? And he had more strength, more everything. He is the being, you know, that helped me restore my sanity. You know what I mean? So disease can be whooped. It's not the best or the strongest or the greatest, but it's one of them. You know what I mean? It's powerful, yeah, and we definitely challenge it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know, but everybody I know who found God, tearing it up.
Mm-hmm. Beat it. Right.
Tearing it up. Everybody who gave me information, education, all found God. So he had to be working in my eyes. You follow what I'm saying? Had to be working in my eyes. You know, I'm going to give him some more hearts because I'm so proud of him, you know, and I appreciating coming on here, you know, and I appreciate the fact that he wants to start his own foundation to help the younger brothers, you know, that's out here, our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids, you know, because they think all this is cool. They think all this is on point. You know what I mean? Especially, you know, when we do the best that we can to try to raise them, you know what I mean? Society is a power too.
Yeah. They don't want to listen to the parents. That's the crazy part. They're telling you all, give you all the answers at home. You don't want to listen. You want to go outside and listen to somebody that's going to tell you bullshit.
So they can hear you.
Mess your life up.
What'd you say?
I said, they don't want to listen to the parents at home that's giving you all the right answers. You want to go outside and listen to the people that's filling your head with the bullshit to mess your life up.
Yeah, because when you go into schools is vicious. You got kids are
cruel.
Yeah.
Kids are cruel.
Kids cruel.
Yeah, they not hold no punches.
They hold no punches. They don't even bite their tongue.
Yeah, they gonna let you.
They cruel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's bad the way a lot of the kids' mentalities and the way that they think are.
But start bringing to them. You gotta be raised the right way. I see.
You was raised the right way, but you chose society. You chose out there. I was raised right. My mother was awesome. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You know, I might have been raised without a dad, but my mom was, to me, both.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was both, and she was awesome at what she did. The streets got me more because she couldn't give me a lot of what I wanted.
Right.
And everybody else around me had it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be the only one that didn't.
Right. So you was chasing something else.
I was chasing. It was addiction. It was an addiction. You know what I mean? I just didn't realize it until I become a grown woman. You know what I mean? You know, digging deep and getting, getting all that truth out of myself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that I've had suppressed for so many years and locked down that I didn't know or understand. You know what I mean?
It takes a long time to learn yourself, though.
Yeah. I'm still learning.
We all are.
I'm still learning. I hope everybody know that we all still learning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all still learning. You can't get settled. You know what I mean? Because it's always something.
It's always something.
Always something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And every day you have to make choices and decisions.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to keep that, keep that straight, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't live like that, to know that. I just lived viciously like the way the street lived. Fast living.
Fast life.
No thinking.
Yeah.
Just doing.
Going with the flow.
You know what I mean? Oh shit, let me do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. Not even think about the consequences. Not think about the consequences whatsoever. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then when I do it and I beat it and I can do it and ain't nothing happening, then you get.
You feel like shit. I really can do this.
Yeah, you feel powerful.
Yeah, unstoppable.
Yeah, unstoppable. Yeah, unstoppable and powerful. You do. You feel like I'm good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, ain't no way I can't.
Yup. Then them drugs came along. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, that thing beat me up, babe. I mean, really knocked me out. Teresa said, congratulations for 6 months being clean. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
That's Teresa. She was one of, hey, Dad, my cousin. Hey, Debbie. Debbie said, amen, God is good.
For sure.
Mo said, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mo.
Rabia, I just see this on here because I don't understand this. This thing is getting like out of my way for a little bit. It'll bring y'all names up like 10 times. Just saying, Rabia is watching, Dion is watching. I don't know why, it does that. But sometimes when I move it, I'll mess it up. So that's why I'm not scrolling on it. And my phone ain't moved since I turned the phone stopped a long time ago. So I don't know if they too close to each other, or Sophia said, you look absolutely great. So, from the story, what you were saying, you look like, Erica said, give yourself, we read that. That's where I'm at on this thing. Sophia also says, strengths of blessings be upon you. Sophia's strong on here too. And her husband shared on here as well. Michelle said, a drug is a drug is a drug. That's powerful. That's powerful, Shelley. That's powerful. See? What happens?
I said, Erica Tillery, that might be my hairdresser.
Erica Tillery? Who, Erica?
Do hair.
Yeah. That's your hairdresser?
Look like it.
It might be her. That's my girl. That's my
I
homie.
was talking to her about doing my podcast with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's starting to move now. Crystal Young, hi. Hey, Damon, my nephew is on there. Benita Dower, hey, y'all. Natalie is moving like a mug. Hey, Marquise. Hey, Shell. My girl from work. Karen Newsom, thanks for being on. Hey, Frank. Adonna. Deidre Miller. Mo. Denise said something. Roxanne. Sheila Jones. Teresa again. I can't pronounce her Muslim name, but her name's Sharon. Cola. Hey, Cola. Lauren Meehan. Dion, that's my sister. Rabia, that's a very good friend of mine as well. Y'all see, I don't know what's going on. You see, what I tell you? It freeze up and ain't nothing I can do. I don't know why it does that. But I try to, shout out everybody and give as many shout outs as I possibly can. What does Diane is saying? because they sign off and then they come back on. Oh, okay. But that's a whole lot of times, I'm going to tell you that. You know, you see how many times you be up there, like 15 times. You know what I mean? But there's something on here saying leaderboard too. I never seen that on here as well. This thing right here. I've never seen that. It's the first time I've ever seen that. Subscriber to Tracy. I don't know. This probably some new stuff. You know, my phone just redid itself. Updated itself. Yeah. So that might be something with that. Because every time I get it, then they update this thing. Now I don't know how to use a lot of things anymore. You know what I mean? So I've just been dealing with it ever since I had the phone. But all of what you said is powerful. You know what I mean? And I do commend you for coming on. I do commend you for all the truth that you told up here, and even the truth of being a dealer. You know what I mean? So that's also a recovery process, you know, for you. And I know God will reward you for all of this. You know what I'm saying? So that podcast that you want to do, it will be great. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people who, once I hear it, when I'm, you know, at work, you know, with someone, you know, people that share with me, you know, and they say they so bad once. Like some come because the POs send them. And it's because they were selling drugs. So, you know, how they use the drugs with no gloves and they get, yeah, you know what I mean? And they'll give them the opportunity to come to the rehab. You know, then they'll, you know, say they use them. I have had many people like that, clients like that. But then you have the ones that did end up using the product. You know what I'm saying? And end up, you know, being their best customer. Yeah, end up being their best customer. And when they tell their story, you know, all of them that was dealers, their story sounds so the same. You know what I mean? Just like ours do as, you know, the junkie and the, you know, the alcoholic, the users, yeah. You know, so it just amazes me, you know, how when I'm listening, you know, to the stories, you know, just how similar they all are. You know, and that's what caught my attention as well. You know, I keep it on the eye, you know, and I try to keep it on the eye so it's just not like I'm talking about you or I'm talking about them. I say we and I say us, you know what I mean, and the I, you know, because that's another direction that I was taught, you know, and suggestion that I was given in the rooms, you know, to always keep it on the eye, you know, because you can't forget where you come from and who you are, you know, and that drugs and alcohol and the streets don't discriminate. Don't discriminate.
Definitely.
You know, and they will snatch your babies. They will snatch your babies, y'all. And some of your babies will be out there smart as a tack, in school, going to church, doing what they do, but some things you don't know what they're doing. Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? You just one of those kids. You know what I mean? Come up with good parents and mothers and grandparents being second time around parents. You know, it's a lot of that because the parents getting high. You know what I mean? And that's what I did and put on that pressure on my mom. You know, she was a second time around mom for my kids. You know, when I should have been there. You know, and that's are the type things that happen, and you just never know until it's possibly too late. You know that your kid is getting it in. They start young now, y'all, real young. I'm telling you, you should see like the 18-year-olds that's coming in.
18, you know, 14.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
My first hit off of weed, I was 14 years old. Yeah, that was my first time. Yeah, I was 14 years old. You know, and that's because my girlfriend and her sister, her oldest sister, used to give it to us.
See, I was the youngest, so all my friends was already doing it. I was a little late to the party, but then
But once you got out, you followed.
You followed.
You followed.
You followed somebody else.
You followed because we become followers. Yeah, but you better not tell me I'm a follower.
No, you won't hear that shit.
You better not tell me I'm no daggone follower. I do what I want to do. I do it because I want to do it. And today I found out that is the reason why I did it. Because I wanted to do it. Exactly. It was my choice and my decision. Yeah, even though I was following though. Yeah, but telling me of y'all was a fire was fight words, you know what I mean? But they was right, the right words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something you don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything else you want to say?
Nothing, not really. Like I said, I'm ready to put the works in and build my own platform and create some content. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. I'm new to the cameras in general, so I got to get all of it. I'm new to it.
Let's give me some heart. You did a great job tonight.
Yeah.
You did an awesome job tonight. And I told you, once you start talking, you're going to get comfortable. It's going to become easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and once you get on, you'll have those just like sometimes my brain gets stuck.
Yeah, you get that brain
I be
voice.
Making up words.
I don't know what the hell I was talking about.
I be rolling. Zip, 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 zip. I said, what the heck I just say? But then, because them drugs done beat it up there a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And getting older, I'm telling you. This thing is real. You hear me?
Sure.
It's real. I appreciate all the hearts that everybody gave me tonight, too. You know what I mean? And the stars. I'm thanking Turk for coming on, for sharing his strengths and hope. Again, Rosetta says she's proud of you. You know what
Appreciate
I mean?
It. Thank you.
Miss Rosetta.
Thank everybody.
Yeah. And Sharon is saying that the addiction and all doesn't have any picks.
Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely not prejudice. I mean, it's not personal. It care less who you are, what you do, where you come from, what you know. You know what I mean? Look at all the people, man. This thing is everywhere. It's everywhere. The White House, everywhere.
Sure.
You know what I mean? In churches, is it message? I mean, it just got, all of us who, they ain't got no picks. It doesn't matter. It doesn't discriminate. Black, white, orange, purple.
Blue,
you know what I mean? Blue, green, it don't matter. You know, it do what it do. You know, and one thing for sure, if you abuse it, it's gonna take you down. It's gonna kill you. You know what I mean? And it's gonna do it slowly without you even feeling, knowing it, or recognizing that that's what it's doing. Because you be living dead, walking dead. You know what I'm saying? And it has definitely detached your brain from your emotions. And it takes the emotions first.
Yeah.
Your emotions get shut down first. That's when you become, I don't care. You know what I mean?
No.
Don't be saying that, become defensive and all that kind of stuff. You know, and then the brain just start deteriorating. You know, and that's what we say. Disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful. You know, and to always know that it works through people, places, and things. So I'm thanking you, bruh. Give me a hug. I'm thanking you for coming on, and sharing with us, and giving us a little strength and hope, hope with the information that you shared. You know what I'm saying? I still advise, as far as on my behalf, as a recovering addict, that rehab does work, and the 12 steps definitely work if you work them. And I also respect, and the same way for a person who just stopped, But my offer to you is the information and education that I have on it. I will pass it down to you because you can get a lot from it, and you can share it from your way, your perspective. Of what it's saying. I'm quite sure when you read it, you're gonna be like, "Wow, this is what this is what I feel. This is what I'm doing." You know what I mean? And you can pass it on. God bless you for everything, that you're doing. In 6 months, that's a lot of time. One day is a lot of time. You know what I mean? And just working each day. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. It's a journey, right? And you got to take care of yourself. Get those hearts. You got to take care of yourself, with those seizures. Right. Because sometimes seizures, you don't have to get high for them to come. You know what I mean? Yeah, so just pay attention to all of that because I see it all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're dangerous.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? They're dangerous, and the more you have, the weaker it becomes, yes. So if it takes that to keep you saying that one word, 2 letters, 1 syllable, and that's no, because at the end of the day, no saved him. You know what I'm saying? When he said, no, I'm not doing it, no, I'm not taking this no more, that's the antibiotic. That's the medication of recovery. No. 1 word, 2 letters, 1 syllable. No. No has to mean no by any means necessary. You got? So y'all, thanks for coming on. I can't wait to see everybody Saturday. We're going to have a good time, you know, being live. I got awesome guest speakers, you know what I mean? And, you know, I know it's going to be great and beautiful for you all because we do this every Wednesday. You know what I mean? We just going live, you know what I mean, at the Purple Carpet. You know, don't forget, people ask you what it is. It's the LNMT Awards. Just like BET, Global Awards, all that stuff. Grammy, this is the LNMT Awards. I said congratulations and continue to let the Creator use and guide you. You are special and chosen to His will. Reach something and you got to hit them little dots or something, right? You know, but thanks her. She's speaking to you.
I appreciate
Anybody
it.
else have anything they want to say before we go off? You know, please, what is it? Comment it now. Appreciate it. You know, I'm going to send these hearts to say thank you guys. You know, and next week we have another great guest, you know, and just to let you guys know that Katanya is definitely still going to come back on. You know, I just wanted to say that because I was going to bring her back on for an after party show, you know, which would have been at Thursday, but the storm stopped that because I did put a shout out on Facebook. So we just rescheduled, you know, and she's still going to come on. I just wanted to let people know because they like, what happened to Katanya? You know, she had a situation, you know, that she had to deal with, which is understandable. You know what I mean? Her phone was messed up, you know, she couldn't get through, knocked out, and she was ripping and running around trying to fix her situation and her phone. So for tonight, thanks everybody for coming on.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime, you can always come back. You can sit here right next to me, you know, and let's do this thing. You know what I mean? You know, branch off into your own. You know, her said misspelled the word use but. Girl, you ain't by yourself. I can't stand this stuff commenting and typing, and it's just a typo. That's it. All right, y'all. I see you guys. We'll see you next Wednesday, but I will see you personally for the Purple Carpet, you know, LNMT Awards on Saturday. Denise, show up. Your ticket is there.
Make sure you
okay?
pull up.
Thank you. Pull on up, y'all. I got to close with the serenity prayer. God grants me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And please, please share this when y'all go off. Just hit share when you guys go off. Love y'all. See you Saturday.